Hi, Dana. How are you? Hi, HP. What's up, bestie? What y'all doing? Hello, batters. How's everyone's evening? What's up? What's up? All right, so I'm going to encourage y'all to share this out on your platforms. Okay? This is going to be so much fun. Hi, Kim. Share it to your Facebook. Share it to your friends. Share, share, share. You're welcome. You're still dealing with a migraine? Do you not have meds for that? I mean, is there not something they can give you? Hi, Amanda. So, I have a new setup and I'm going to see how this looks. I want to see how this looks. And y'all tell me what you think. So, I'm going to flip you over to the cam. Look at there. All nice and bright. All nice and bright. Let's hope that it switches over like it's supposed to. There we go. Take meds every day. Aw. Hi, pal. Okay, so this is what we're making. This is what we're making. Okay, so you're going to be using alcohol inks. You're going to be using paints. You're going to be using glitter. So I have dragon skin and I'm going to use this in here. Good evening. So I'm going to put a little bit of my paint in a measuring cup. I ran out of perfect blend, so I'm gonna just make do. I'm gonna make do. All right, so you want to have this is the vinyl we're using. I'm gonna be using a chip brush, okay? As soon as I find it. Would have thought I would have had my shit together, but here we are. So I'm just gonna use a chip brush when we do the distressing. I'm really digging how this looks. This looks much better than before. Um, so if y'all can see, I think it looks really good. Um, hopefully my camera won't time out on me. I don't know what happens, so I'm just gonna keep looking. I know that light is really bright, but so we're gonna be doing this on a 30 skinny. This is from Hog. I am going to hello. I am gonna pull this piece off here. Maybe. All right, so what we want to do is we want to sand this down really good, just as you would any other cup that you're working on, okay? So we're going to sand it down. I'm going to use a 60 grit sanding block. So cover your ears. Hi, Joanne. Thank y'all for sharing it out. First nighttime live. I redid my desk, Shan. I redid it. All right. So I'm just going to wipe this down with a microfiber cloth. Now, if you do not have the striper, you can use some measuring cups that are stacked up. I'm going to use the striper just because it'll give me um my exact. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I got to go in here and change my settings so it won't auto lock. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I should have done that beforehand, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Note to self. Turn off sleep mode. So I'm going to use the striper to mark where I want to put my strip. Okay. You can use your cutter to make your strip. I'm going to use the striper. So I'm going to take a marker. As soon as I find it. And if I measure this cup, it's probably, I don't know. Let's look. So about 9 3/8. So I'm going to mark, I'm going to come probably 4.5 from the, I'm going to do 4 from the bottom. So if you look here, there's a measurement, right? If you guys need me to zoom in any, just let me know, okay? So I'm going to mark it from 4 from the bottom. So I'm just going to stick my pin in there. I'm going to hold it steady and I'm going to turn it. This pin might not write on here, which is exactly what I thought. Hi, niece. I had a actual Sharpie and I don't know what I did with it. Like a pointy tip Sharpie. Wait a minute, let me grab a Sharpie. A brown one? Okay. So I am going to go 4 from the bottom, hold the marker still, and just spin the cup. Okay. That's going to give me a straight line. So that gives me what we're working with. Okay. So now you have a perfectly straight line. Perfect straight line. Perfectly whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just going to use this. All right. So you can use your machine. I'm not going to use my machine. I'm just going to mark this 2 inches out and I'm going to use my vinyl cutter just because I don't want to use the machine. So I'm gonna come on this side where it's straight. I think I'm gonna do mine. I think I'm gonna do, this might be a 1-inch strip. Yep. So we're gonna do a 1-inch strip. So I'm just gonna mark it right here. This is the vinyl cutter. Line this up. Hope it's straight. Actually, let me make a straight cut first. Make sure that's straight. And then I'm gonna mark this again. So there we have us a strip. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right along this line so we can hide our marker piece. This is what I call the prep work. We're prepping it. So I'm just going to use the hinge method. I'm going to pull a little piece back and I'm going to cut that off. I don't know why all of my stuff is 900 feet away. So I'm just going to use the hinge method. I'm going to place it on top of the line. Okay. So we're just going to lay it right there. And we're going to use that line as our guide. Okay. So you're just going to roll it back little by little to make sure you stay on that line. So it should be relatively easy. And as you can see, I'm way up. How did that happen? Let's try this again. Fix with the other side. This is what sucks about having OCD. I feel like it's going to be off again. But I don't know why it's so off. But what I'll do, instead of trying to sit here and stress with this, I'll just, that can be hidden by pinstripes. Okay, no biggie. No biggie. All right, so now we have our tape on, our vinyl on. What I want you to do is I want you to tape that off. Okay, I want you to tape that off. That's so paint, glitter, inks, all the stuff we're going to be doing doesn't get on your vinyl. Okay. So I'm just going to roll it. And make me a pull tab. And then I'm going to do the other side, and we'll just make it somewhere different. So I was actually challenged to make this cup from Lisa. Lisa challenged me. All right. And that's how this cup was born. Make a pull tab. All right, everybody with me so far? Anybody have any questions? Because now is the time to ask them. Put a noodle in there. No, God. That was horrible. Okay. So we are going to be using Dragon Skin, Perfect Blend, and Gold Digger. That's what came in your box. Thanks, Glowbug. So now for this one, we're going to use just a regular paintbrush. I will use the heat gun to speed up the process, just of drying it out. And we'll do the white last after we're done with everything. So the first color that I'm going to use is Dragon Skin. So this is like a patina. I don't know. It's one of my favorite colors out of the paint line is Dragon Skin. So we're gonna do one coat, dry it, and then do another coat. So we're just gonna go there. This does not have to be perfect because we're gonna grunge it up a little bit. And you'll see me tape and retape because I don't want the paint to dry on my tape. So this is a pretty good first coat. I'm going to go ahead and pull my tape and then we'll retape it. Then I'll take the heat gun and dry it. See, I can't speed this part up. Y'all are stuck. All right. So we're going to let that cool off for a minute. I'm going to use the grip and spin because we can have more control over it that way. Maybe you guys can see it. This noodle is pathetic. Just make sure I'm still in frame. Really? Oh yeah, because I'm using I guess it's the noise canceling microphone. So it's not the iPad microphone. All right. So that's pretty dry. I'm going to go ahead and go in with a second coat after I spill my stuff. Oh God, didn't mean to use that much, but it's okay because we'll use it in the distressing portions. All right, so now before I get ahead of myself, let me retape this section right here, just where the paint is. Yeah, I love the microphone. All right. I didn't know it like canceled out all sounds like that, but all right. So we're going to go in with our second coat. Got to get some more boats. Thanks to Shan, I use boats for everything. Then we'll do the bottom. And I'm not worried about full coverage, okay? I'm not worried about this being all even and fancy and you know what I mean? Because we're gonna change it up anyway. So I'll pull this tape. Yeah, this anything that I do on YouTube is always posted. So you don't have to miss out. If you got to feed the babies or take the dog on a walk, or if you just go to bed early, whatever, it'll be available for replay. Now, this was our rustic cowhide box. So I sent you everything you needed except the cup and, of course, like your tape and stuff like that. But you got the paints, the brushes, the alcohol ink. You got all of it. And the glitter. I believe we use swab for this box. All right. So we're going to dry it again. You're welcome. I don't like that the noodle is squishy. And y'all, we're trying to build this channel up. So if you can share, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to alternate between um, the brown and the gold with the chip brush. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Now you could have bypassed this whole thing and spray painted it, but what fun would that have been? None. That would have taken all the fun out of it. Unless I forgot to do the bottom. All right. So I need to grab another chip brush that way I don't mix the colors. And you can get the chip brushes at Lowe's or at Walmart. I mean, they're really inexpensive. And when I do my wood grains, I keep them. I keep all of my um brushes. I don't throw them out. No, I was just talking to Chris about that. Absolutely not. And my nerves is tore up. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this in here. And then I'm gonna pour this. I ran out of perfect blend, so mine's gonna look a little bit lighter. All right, now we have two chip brushes. We're gonna use one for our metallic and one for our brown. Okay. Now you can go up this way, down this way. This is where your creativity comes in. Okay. So I'm going to start with the brown, and I'm just going to dip the tip of the bristles in there. Okay. I'm not going to saturate it or anything, and I'm going to dab it a couple of times, and then I'm just going to swipe. Don't forget the bottom, and we're just going to swipe. And then we're going to take, while this is still wet, and we're going to do the same thing with the gold. Now swipe and go. Then I'm going to go back in with the brown. So we're just kind of layering all of the colors. Okay. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's whatever you want to do. Just don't forget your bottom. Don't forget the bottom. We just want it to look weathered, worn and weathered. And then we're going to go back in with the gold. And you're just going to repeat this until it looks like you want it to look. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll go back in with a little bit of the teal. And we're just going to keep going and layering and layering and layering. Do a little bit more of the brown. Let me grab another chip brush. And then I'm just going to dab in my dragon skin. I don't want a whole lot on there. I just want a little bit. Just to kind of pull some of that through there where the colors are darker. And like I said, just go until you reach what you like. Okay. I think I want a little more gold in mine. So I'm just going to smush it down. Come up from the bottom. What's up, Doc? I said, don't forget the bottom and what I do. Forgot the bottom. Okay, so I like the way that looks. You can keep going. You can stop. You can do whatever it is you want to do. But I feel like this is perfect. Okay. No two of these are going to be the same. I don't care if you use the same paint, the same brush, the same boat. It's all going to be different because that paint is not going to land the same way every time. So I'm going to pull this tape. And pinstripes are going to hide where that sharp line is, so don't worry about that. And now we're going to dry it. And it doesn't have to be all the way dry for us to move on to the next step. but I don't want it like super wet either. All right. So I got to get another boat because now we're going to move on to our white. And let me move these brushes out of the way.